Some of you have been here a while now and might know that I'm a pretty lazy man. But how on earth can you have a healthy diet that's also easy and convenient? Well, if you live in the US, it is your lucky day because I've got the perfect solution for you. Factor offers you the chance to get fresh, ready-made meals delivered directly to your doorstep. They're never frozen, they're full of high quality ingredients and packed with nutritional value too. It even offers meals for those following different lifestyles and diets. So what are you waiting for? Go and click that lovely link at the top of the description now. You'll get plenty of money off your first order with Factor and some off the few after too. You'd be a fool to miss out on an opportunity like that. Well, we're doing our very best to throw away this Irish Premiership title. Retaining our crown is 2 games away. But we've got to win against Linfield to do it, and that is far easier said than done. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 101 of Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Linfield in our penultimate league game before Glentoran on the final day of the league season. The plan was going to be initially to play Linfield in this title decider, hopefully have had it wrapped up and then maybe show the Linfield Cup game as one episode. And to be fair, that might still happen today, but not in the way we intended. Because at the moment, Linfield are a point clear of us. They've got a better goal difference, plus 87 by the way. A few of you were concerned when their latest manager came in because he was sort of a part the bus manager and it looked like they were going to be defensive. Yeah, it's not quite worked out that way, has it? But if they win this game today, the penultimate one of the season, they will then guarantee the title with a game to spare. And if that happens, we'll move straight on to the cup final because I don't want to bore you with a dead rubber. But we have been hurt by an incident affecting Larne and we will talk about that and the timing of it in a moment. So if you're looking forward to all of that, it promises to be a very big end to the season. And please do put a thumbs up on it. Is it ironic that we got to the last 16 in Europe and this season could end up being a bit underwhelming? We have only won the Antrim Shield so far and we would expect more than that at this stage. The fact remains that if we want to win anything else, we are going to have to beat Linfield in either this or the cup final. So let's go and have a look at what's been going on and the timing of one thing which has really cost us. So if we go and have a look at the schedule, we had that ridiculous run of games towards the end of March, but we did exactly what we said we were going to do. We got ourselves 10 points out of 12. We had ourselves in control of our own destiny going into the league split. And we got through in the Irish Cup semi-final too. There's a standout result after that though. And we've got to talk about why. First though, since you were with me, a 2-2 draw at home to Glentoran. Both of those thanks to Tom Robinson as we came from behind twice. A 4-1 win at Cliftonville with Lennon, Griffiths and 2 for Simpson. You can tell when the first team were playing there. In the midweek, we managed to sneak a win against Coleraine. And I've got to be honest, it was another one of those moments, we had one a bit later as well, where I thought, maybe we've done it. Maybe this is going to be our year again. Because Daly and Lafferty scored, but look at the last minute. David Aitken in the 90th off the bench, and he scored a crucial winner for us, the youngster. We then played against Crusaders, and Rory Lennon's brace was enough to get us the win. The same for Maurice Simpson in the cup semi-final against Ballymena. But then this happened, a 2-0 defeat against Larne. It almost got worse the game after as well. We'll talk about that in a moment. But what happened in the build-up to this game? Well, in that 2-week break between the league split and that fixture, Larne appointed Michael Duff after sacking their old manager. Now, he is the current Barnsley manager in real life, has spent most of the first decade of this save managing in the EFL, and he's very good at his job. He's a former Northern Irish international, and that's going to make them a big threat next year because since he's come in, they've been very good. And he's got a good contract, a good personality, and he's got great attributes too. So we'll watch out for them. I'm a little bit concerned if I'm being honest. What I was almost more concerned about was the following game at home to Warren Point because it could have been all over today really. We went 2-0 up in 3 minutes through Dermot Lafferty. I thought, great, job done. We got to half time, 2-0 up, very easy street. What happened in the second half? I've probably not seen for a long time from this side against a bottom half team or a team outside the top 3 or 4. We were completely outplayed. Warren Point went 3-2 up. They completely turned the game around. And then we brought on all the big guns. With 5 minutes to go, Maurice Simpson put one in, 3-3. It looked like it was dwindling away. In the 92nd minute, Maurice Simpson completed his brace. And with it, a 4-3 thriller. it was a jump out of seat moment, and ironically, it might all be for nothing. It is worth mentioning as well that with the likes of Warren Point reaching the top half rather than a Crusaders, for example, or even a Cliftonville, look at the attendances. It's a big problem for us. That extra money not quite there, albeit the Linfield game will deliver some today. And although we haven't been convincing, although this big fixture congestion is catching up with us now, certainly in terms of energy and performances, we did manage to get a win against Coleraine. Another fairly late winner, Dermot Lafferty with it after Poate's opener. And now it's 2 games against Linfield and 1 against Glentoran, which may well decide our season. We know that the 2 Linfield games are must win. There isn't an alternative. Linfield will not drop points on the final day. They're at home to Larne. If it had been away, maybe I would have said something else, but at home I'd fancy them every day of the week. So let's just go and get into it. I will show you the Northern Ireland results between the 2 games as well. But this is all about Distillery, and this game will decide what the second part of this episode is. Over 5,000 for a league game at our place. We've not had that before. Let's see what 11 we can put out. And it's met with some very big news. In the last week, Cameron Goss has picked up a knock. Maurice Simpson has picked up a longer injury, as has Bobby Harvey. So Simpson will now miss the rest of the season. Might make the bench for the cup final, but won't start another game. What that means for today is our 11 is as follows. Neil Kane is in goal. Williams and Reid the fullbacks, with Jones in alongside Mackenzie at centre half. Whitehall and Daly the midfield 2. Lennon in his best form of the season as the number 10. And then Poate and Parry off Lafferty up front. Parry's out of contract at the end of the year, but at the moment wants double our highest earner. And we can't afford it. We're only allowed to offer up to £2,000 a week. So that's going to be a problem for later in the summer. But for now, we'll drop to balance when we get into it because we can't dominate Linfield. We'll go into the first half. This is a must-win game. And if we can stay in it, and maybe late on we can nick one. You've got to say as well, it does sort of make it a bit ironic how things and perceptions change, because we were really happy last episode when we drew at Linfield against 10 men. Now I'm looking and saying, was that a missed opportunity because we've got to force it against 11? They've got a good team. They've brought Mackie back in. He featured for me in the international break again. So let's just encourage the lads. A few of them are motivated. We're going to drop to balance. We're going into the first half. And we hope, in front of a big crowd, it'll probably be mainly away fans. Let's not hide that fact. We can go out and we can do a job today. We've got a good team. We're competitive with a starting 11. Linfield, the same note, a very good team. Possibly the best in the nation on paper. And with 1 point separating us and goal difference in Linfield's favour, a win is the only option for us, unless Larne do a massive favour on the final day. Well, here we are with 30 seconds gone. We've got an advanced throw on the right-hand side. Got to say, a lot of home fans in there on that side of the pitch. So where are they for all the other matches? As Kellyman's in, you've got to be kidding me. The centre forward has just run straight through our defence. And I know Goss is missing, but what a start to the game that is. To throw away the title in a minute. Well, that is a little bit of an underwhelming finish to it all, isn't it? Why are there so many home fans in for this? I know that it's a big game against Linfield, but it is home fans that are in there. And we've got to a position where, against Warren Point, there were 400 and something in. So where on earth are the home fans when it matters most? We need them in for other games, and we need that reputation to build. I've talked up Lana and Michael Duff. They're now 1 down at Warren Point, and Kellyman flicks this on for Ferrisage. It could be all over in a minute. They come down the left side of the box. The cross is into Kellyman and Daly away. It's cleared to the 25-yard line. Martin recycles it. It is all Linfield. We've collapsed on the big stage. I'm going positive because we've got to chase this now. We're getting outclassed. They're all over us. And this is going to be a big thing for next year. We have got to get better to compete with Linfield. As Poate's free kick over the bar. It's not looking good for us at the minute, is it? Nearly half an hour gone. We're yet to have a shot on target. And all we're seeing is Linfield attacks. But I did say this tongue-in-cheek at the start of the season. This might actually be better for the nation. Not the club, but it will be better for the nation overall. Linfield, if they're in Champions League qualifying, will probably reach the group stages of something. And for us, we'll now be in Europa League qualifying. The coefficient is improving again. We'll look in the end-of-year review. As Ferrisage is back, I tell you what, this has been an absolute disaster. It is one of the worst performances I can remember watching. And I don't know what's happened to us defensively in recent weeks. I know that perhaps Goss being out hasn't helped. I know that we've been a little bit short of fitness at times, but this is becoming a real issue for us. It's been a catastrophic performance. We've tried to get on the front foot and we've been outclassed, but We have never had less of an attacking threat, and even not having Simpson up front to hold the ball up has been a part of the problem. I'm going to throw the water bottle. A few of them are anxious, but I don't care. This performance has been diabolical. Now we're going to go to the midfielders, try and get them to do something, because at the moment, this has just been a disaster. And I don't really know where the performance has come from. I can excuse losing to Linfield. These things happen. But the performance has been gutless. And I've not seen that from us for a long time. Let's get to the hour mark. There's been no change at all. I mean, I guess at least they've not had any more shots, but I'm going to take an anxious Lafferty off for Jonathan McElhatton. Reed is struggling at right back. We'll put Puarte back there. In fact, will we? Is it worth taking the defenders off? Probably not. Lennon's on the yellow card. He'll come off for Griffiths. We'll also take off Puarte for Jaffet and Pardy. Varmer on the left wing for Parry. And then Bell a left back for Williams. That's what we're going to do. 2-0 Linfield. Our title hopes are probably dwindling now. As Stewart gets the ball on the left. I say probably. They're gone, aren't they? Stewart throws into Ferrisage. And this is the one thing I've got to say in positive side for this Build a Nation save. Not a good sentence, but we'll live with it. As Keith Martin, our international player, has made it 3. I mean, where's the defence? He's just running with the mercy of the 18-yard box. This isn't like our Distillery team. Have they just run out of steam? Or is there something bigger going on here? I don't get it. Do we have to maybe train a second tactic, play a holding midfielder against Linfield and Lahm because they're doing this to us too often? But with 10 minutes to go, it's been an awful display and I just don't know what to make of it. I've lost my trail of thought from the last point as well, but still, what a way to throw it away. Daly gets the ball on the right to Mpardi. How have we been so bad? I mean, we're going to play Glentoran off camera and get straight to the cup final now, but you're looking at what happened in the League Cup final. You're looking at this game now, and you're looking at the Irish Cup final against the same opponent in 2 weeks. It's not going to be a different outcome, is it? It's all Linfield at the minute. I might have to try and put a holding midfielder in because this has become a disaster. But you can't blame a holding midfielder for goals like that. The right back gets rinsed by his winger. The ball comes in. The 2 centre-halves lose a header to the on-rushing number 10. I mean, I keep saying it's a disaster. We've not had a shot on target. We've had no goal threat. And as a result, with a game to go, we're going to watch Linfield, our rivals, regain the Irish Premiership title. We won it once. But yeah, going back to the previous point, it is great for the Build a Nation that the other sides are this competitive, that they're spending their money well, that they're improving on and off the pitch. But it is making it very difficult. And with a game to spare, we have lost our crown. Our first title took 10 years. We are not backing it up in season 11. Linfield are champions. Our European run may have cost us. And now we've got to build ahead for 2 weeks' time. We face them again in the Irish Cup final. And if we don't win it, it's probably a disappointing season. Let's go and get ahead to it. We'll play Glentoran off camera. We'll be back in a minute for the final game of the year, where we've got to do better than that. Well, here we go. It is our last shot of redemption this season. And I know Europe has been a massive success, but domestically, this has now been a disappointing year. Of course, we've got in the top 2, which is great. But look at where Larne are at the minute. With a new manager, they're going to possibly be a lot stronger next year. We're going to have to do the same. We've got Maurice Simpson, passed the fitness test, recommended 60 minutes. He'll be on the bench today. Crucially, Lennon is back, having picked up a knock after the last game we showed, and Goss is back now fully. The other problem, though, is that Neil Daly's out injured, so it is a little bit of a finish to the season that we didn't expect. I guess we're maybe being naive, because with a lot of games you expect injuries to follow fixture congestion. But let's see what we can put out today. Can we deal with any of the threats that Linfield have got, because we were awful last time? Let's go and pick our 11. We'll be back in a minute to run through it and find out. Well, here we are then. We're as close as possible to our first 11. Of course, Griffiths is in for the injured Daly. Goss is back at centre-half. Lafferty continues up front. We look at the bench. Mark Wilson is available to put on. He'd been out on loan, of course. Not going to get close. David Aiken is on the bench, though. And there's a good reason for that. If we go back to our final game of the season, which we just played, a 3-1 win against Glentoran, Aitken came off the bench and got 2 of them. And at the moment, he's probably the inform attacker in the squad of the fit players. So he's there as a result of that. Lennon got 1 in that game too. But let's go and get through the team selection. This is the 11 we've gone for. It is Goss in at centre-half for Jones. It is Griffiths in for the injured Daly. The rest of it stays the same, and surely they can't play that badly again. I did think about going for a holding mid, but we've not really got anyone who can do it naturally. So we're just going to go as we are and hope that we perform better, because we have given Linfield a good game on many occasions before. Well, Linfield themselves have decided to ring the changes, mainly back to first team, having rested people in the final league match. They have got an injury to Keith Martin, who scored one of those in the romping a couple of weeks ago, but the attacking lineup is full strength, and we know it's got quality. Mackey's up front today, interestingly. Kellyman drops to the bench with Sean McAllister in on the right. He's won a cup final against us before with a brilliant goal. We will drop to balanced again. We will try and get on the front foot eventually. But we've just got to make sure that we're at our best. And we were very far from that 2 weeks ago. It's another big game, it's another big occasion. And I need us to stand up this time. Well, I think I've been cursed, haven't I? I was just about to say this is much better. We've not had any highlights with 35 minutes gone. We're in the game. Not been many good chances for either team. It's a sold-out Windsor Park, by the way, which is great for the cup final. But now we've picked up an injury in the one position where all of the backups are unavailable. Harvey's injured. We've got Kean out injured as well. So Reed will have to swap with Puarte, who will go to right back. And then we bring on probably Jonathan McElhatton. I didn't put Mpardi on the bench, which I may regret. We could put Lafferty out there and Aitken up front, but that's a long time to do that. But now we're going to stick with... Do you know what? I'm going to put McElhatton through the middle and Lafferty as an inverted winger. It's his strongest position. McElhatton is better through the middle. He scored goals against Linfield before, and doing something slightly different tactically may well be beneficial. It's not ideal, and it's not the defence I want against this opposition. But at half-time, despite not having a shot on target, we have faced very little. And you know me, when we've had good cup final runs before, particularly looking back at the Hemel save in FM22, we make the games boring. We've got to do it. We've got to stay in it. And then maybe late on we try and nick one. Into the second half, let's keep it plain. Oh dear, we're going from the kickoff. Not what we wanted. Allen, who got that final goal in the last tie between us, finds Hancock, and now Patterson. Over halfway to Mackey. Do not let them score from the kickoff second half. Long ball forward to Stewart. There's two in the middle. Chance to cross. He's forced backwards. Allen's got space though. Delivers to Kellyman, who's on. And he scored with his first touch. On at half-time. Heads in at the back post. We cannot compete with that. And we have got to get another centre-half next year. Kean obviously won't come back the same player anyway. We lost Callum Wilson mid-season at right back. We need a player there too. We have got to strengthen. It's good to have the security of those lone players staying, but I'd like them to be backups by the end of next year, as Hancock nicks the ball off of McElhatton, another one who shamefully probably isn't good enough, as in the space of 4 minutes at the start of the second half, we have completely collapsed. And maybe it's something I've got to focus on my signings now. Because of the position we were in, we've spent a long time looking for the best possible players we can get into the club. That we now need to start looking at personalities, because this team is spineless on the big occasion. We saw it in some of the European qualifiers earlier in the year. We've seen it in 2 cup finals and a big league decider now. This has been a real whimper to end the season. Is it just the fixtures catching up with us? Am I overreacting? I don't know. As Lafferty cuts in, finds Parry, has to score, does score. Back in a game a little bit. A bonkers start to the second half. Oh, don't rush to get the ball, Ben, eh? We're not in a rush to get back into this at all. 10 minutes gone in the second half. First shot on target is scored. It's 2-1. I'm not sure it's more than a lifeline. And I'm not sure we're going to make it count. But either way, at least we got a goal. As McAllister into Kellyman. Off the bar. He's won another header. It is ridiculous. Let's go and have a look at changes. You can see Puarte is really struggling at right back, but I don't really have an option there, to be honest. I'm going to take Morgan Griffiths off for the 4-man, the youngster, David Aitken. I'm also going to bring on Tom Robinson, who's been the best trainer most of the last 2 months. He'll replace Whitehall in midfield. Do I maybe bring on Curtis Bell right back? He can do it, but he's a natural left footer. I'm not sure it suits us either. He's got the personality for it though. I'm going to leave it at 3 for now. We'll give it 10 more minutes, then we'll make ourselves a decision. Lennon is knackered and he's now picked up an injury as well. So Rory Lennon will be replaced by Daniels. And then the final change, I'm going to take off Jamie Williams for Curtis Bell. I know it seems counterproductive, but I just want the personality on the pitch. He's determined, he's a leader, and he's good in the air from a set piece. Might give us a bonus. We need a goal. We have had the better of this game in terms of stats since the 2-1 deficit. but we've not been able to get back in it, and we haven't really had an attacking highlight. As Bain picks the ball up, his ball forward is blocked. Aiken heads away to McElhatton here, and when you look at it, with the greatest of respect to them, Sean Daniels, McElhatton, Aiken the youngster, and now Bell at left back is not the best team. Goss is back in there. I mean, for all of his brilliance, Goss, he's got one big negative in his game, one mammoth weakness, which is composure, and he doesn't anticipate things. Things go over his head, and he makes that mistake probably 4 or 5 times a season, and it's costing him again there. He's misjudged the ball, and if we could just get 2 top-class centre-halves in, I feel we'd be a great side next year. It's definitely the weakness in this team. Our defensive record is not the same. And again, we're doing the same thing as we did last game. We are watching Linfield lift the trophy at our expense. We finished the season remarkably with just the Antrim Shield. You've got to consider it a disappointment on the domestic front. Yes, we're second. Yes, there's European football to come again. And of course, we did break Lens dominance in that Big Two, and we went on a great run in Europe. But this is a painstaking sight, and we've got to make sure we don't see it as much next year. Yes, we've got a good team, but to put it in perspective, when I'm picking my Northern Ireland squad, there are 2 Linfield players in there every time. There's another 2 very close to the squad. The only one of ours within touching distance is Neil Kane, and that means our squad has got to get better. Let's go and get through the dressing room. We'll say it wasn't to be, but it was a much better performance, which is at least something. Well, there we go. Disappointment again, and it's going to spill over to next season too, because Gaffin Reid will miss the start of pre-season with a broken collarbone. He's out for 9 weeks. Kean's still out for 3 months, and the other right back's injured as well. It is a bad time to pick up injuries, and it has been crucial at the end of this year, but it was always expected with the congestion. We go and have a look at the competitions. We do finish with just 1 trophy. Next year, no All-Ireland Cup for us, no Champions League qualifying, and the SPFL Trust Trophy, we do sneak in. Again, the schedule's going to be horrific. The crucial thing for us is building on European group stage football. We'll have a look at how that's affected the coefficient in the end of season review in 2 days' time. Before that though, let me quickly show you the Northern Ireland results in our first 2 qualifiers. A comfortable 3-0 win against Armenia. I'm pretty sure we played them in the Nations League, didn't we? Yeah, so same outcome there. And then a 2-0 defeat to the Republic of Ireland, who are excellent in game. A lot of work to be done then at Distillery this summer. We'll have a full look at where we need to improve in our end of season review. We'll see that in a couple of days' time, as well as work on more facilities upgrades, more building of the financial side of things, and hopefully a step towards catching Linfield as we look to become the best side in Northern Ireland again. If you did enjoy this bitter disappointment to finish the season, 2 defeats against the Northern Irish champions, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of that finish. The claps in a league game so disappointing. We've got work to do if we want to catch Linfield. Get your early predictions in. Where do we need to improve? We'll have a detailed look in the next episode, of course. If you want to stay up to date with it, see our season review and our summer transfer window to come, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back here in 2 days' time, but before that, we've got a big one in the head coach, where the focus is now international. You can find that up in the eye above with our new job, as well as the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and the blog story as well. And I'll see you back here next time for a real head scratcher with Distillery. We have got to get this summer right. We'll be back next time to plan it.